Started on my 12th birthday. We'd just finished dinner. Pizza, my favorite, and my parents had turned in early. My little sister was already asleep. I stayed up late watching a movie, then brushed my teeth before bed, like always. I was humming to myself, just standing there in front of the mirror. Everything felt normal until I noticed it. A blink. That's all it was. A blink. But it was wrong. I blinked, but the reflection didn't do it at the same time. There was a delay. Half a second, no more, but enough to make my stomach twist. I leaned closer to the glass, staring into my own eyes. Everything else seemed fine. I laughed nervously and told myself I was just tired. But as I turned to leave the bathroom, I caught it. A smile. It smiled after I had already turned away. I froze. Goosebumps shot up my arms. I whipped back around, heart pounding, but the reflection was perfectly still, mirroring me exactly. My arms, my face, my tired eyes, just like it always was. I shook my head, convinced I was imagining things. I didn't tell anyone. What would I even say? Hey, Mom, my reflection is playing tricks on me? No way. So I let it go. But that wasn't the end. Over the next few days, things got weirder. Subtle, but noticeable. I'd raise my hand, and sometimes the reflection would lag just a little. Other times, it would move too quickly, just a fraction of a second before I did. Once, while brushing my hair, the reflection grinned when I didn't, like it was enjoying something I wasn't aware of. The worst was when I leaned close to the mirror, our faces nearly touching the glass. I swear to you, it looked at me, not through me, at me. Eyes locked, focused, curious, as if it wasn't me at all, but someone pretending. Someone studying me. I covered the mirrors after that. I told my parents it was for privacy. They thought I was being dramatic, maybe going through a phase. My dad joked that I was just too scared to look at my own acne coming in. I laughed, but I didn't correct him. Better that than telling the truth. I avoided mirrors for days. I even stopped using my phone's front camera. But the thing is, mirrors are everywhere. In shop windows, in dark TV screens, in shiny toasters. And every time I saw a reflection, even just a flicker, I felt watched. Like I wasn't alone. Even when I was. One night, I walked past a clothing store downtown, and in the reflection of the glass, I saw myself standing still. Not walking like I was, just standing. I turned sharply. No one there. But in the window, my reflection smiled again. The same smirk. That same unnatural confidence. After that, I started dreaming about it. I'd wake up covered in sweat, hearing my own voice whispering things I didn't understand. "Let me out," it would say. Or sometimes just one word, over and over, freedom. The dreams felt real. Too real. One night, during a storm, the power went out. Lightning cracked across the sky, and rain slapped against the windows like angry hands. I grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the bathroom. Not really sure why. Maybe I wanted to see if the mirror was empty, or maybe I needed to face it. I stood in front of the mirror in the dim flicker of the flashlight, and there it was, already standing, already watching. I hadn't even moved, and the reflection was grinning, not mirroring me, just smiling on its own. Its head tilted slightly, like it was studying a new pet. My breath caught in my throat. I raised my hand slowly. The reflection didn't move, not even a twitch. Then it raised its hand. First. That was the moment I realized it wasn't just copying me. It was learning. I backed out of the bathroom and slammed the door shut. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't tell anyone the next day either. What could I say? I think there's someone else pretending to be me in the mirror. No one would believe me. I started noticing changes in myself after that. Little things. I laughed at things that weren't funny. My tone started sounding unfamiliar. Even my thoughts didn't feel like my own sometimes. It felt like I had a shadow behind my eyes, watching, smiling. And then one morning I woke up and my mirror was shattered. Glass everywhere. Jagged edges, like something had punched from the inside out. My parents were furious. They thought I broke it and lied. But I didn't. I swear I didn't. Something had come through. After that, things got worse. I started blacking out, just for a few seconds at a time. I'd be walking down the hallway at school, and suddenly I'd be outside. Or I'd look in the mirror at home and see nothing. No reflection at all for a few seconds. Just empty glass. And then pop, there I was again staring back. I began writing notes to myself. Little reminders. You're the real one. Don't trust the mirror. Check your eyes. Because sometimes my eyes looked different. Just for a second. Too wide. Too dark. Too curious. Then last week, I found something terrifying. A video. My laptop had recorded a webcam video while I was asleep. It showed me getting out of bed at 3:13 a.m., walking to the bathroom mirror and talking to it. I couldn't hear what I was saying, but my mouth was moving and I was smiling that same awful smile. And in the mirror, there was another me, talking back, laughing, holding up a hand against the glass. I haven't slept since. I don't know if I'm still me anymore. Sometimes I catch myself doing things I don't remember deciding to do. Picking up objects I don't need. Smiling when no one's around. Whistling a tune I've never heard. Last night, I caught my reflection watching me again. But this time, it didn't smile. It looked annoyed. As if it was tired of waiting. Tired of pretending. So, I made a choice. I covered every mirror in my house. I smashed the bathroom one. Taped black paper over my closet mirror. I even stopped using my phone camera. But deep down, I know it's not enough. Because you can't trap something that was never supposed to stay in there. And I'm not sure who came out. Me or my twin in the mirror. But I'll tell you this. When I blink now, I don't always do it first. Ever since I smashed the mirror, things haven't been the same. You'd think that breaking it would have solved everything, that destroying the glass would have trapped whatever was inside, or at least kept it from crawling out into my world. But that's not how this works. That thing, my twin, it's not stuck anymore. If anything, it's free now, and I think I helped set it loose. It started subtly, like before. A chill in the room, even when all the windows were shut. That feeling of being watched, especially at night. But now it wasn't just for mirrors. It was in corners, hallways, doorways. I'd see movement, brief flashes of something just out of view. And always the same size, the same build as me. I'd turn my head, and there'd be nothing. Or worse, my own face, flickering in a reflection that wasn't there a moment ago. Sometimes it would be in the glossy surface of a doorknob, a TV screen, the water in the sink. And the strangest part? People around me began to change too. My parents acted like I was different, more withdrawn, more unpredictable. My mom said I'd stop in the middle of conversations, stare at her for a long time, and then smile like I didn't recognize her. She said I scared her sometimes, but I didn't remember any of it. At school, my best friend Aaron asked me why I kept messing with him, showing up behind him, whispering things in his ear, then pretending like I wasn't even there. I hadn't seen him in days, but someone who looked like me had. That's when it really hit me. It wasn't just copying me anymore. It was replacing me. Little by little, piece by piece, it was stepping into my world, taking over moments, conversations, memories. I'd go to bed and wake up feeling like hours had passed, but according to my phone, it had only been minutes. One night, I woke up standing in front of the mirror in my closet, a mirror I had thrown out days ago. Somehow, it was back on the wall, clean, untouched, like it had never left. And in the mirror, I saw him. He didn't flinch, didn't move, just stared at me with that knowing smile, like a secret only he understood. He raised his hand slowly, fingers outstretched, and pressed it against the glass. Without thinking, I reached out and touched the cold surface with my own. And for a moment, just a flicker, I swear I felt skin, not glass. Like there was no barrier anymore. Like the mirror wasn't just a reflection, but a window, a doorway, and it had just opened. After that, things unraveled quickly. I'd find things in my room I hadn't brought in, An old shirt I threw away last year, a drawing I don't remember making, a note in handwriting that looked almost like mine, but not quite. The note only had 4 words. I was here first. I started recording myself at night, left my phone on the nightstand, camera facing the bed, and what I saw shook me to the core. There were hours of stillness. Then, at 2:17 a.m. exactly, I sat up, but I don't remember doing it. I watched my own body rise from the bed, head tilted in that same eerie way. I stood in front of the camera, smiling, eyes empty, and whispered something over and over. I turned the volume all the way up. It was hard to hear, but I made it out. You're the copy now. You're the copy now. You're the copy now. Over and over. I couldn't breathe. I deleted the footage, smashed the mirror again, threw it in the trash down the street. But it didn't matter. The next morning it was back. Perfect. Untouched. Hanging in its place like it never left. And now, when I look into it, sometimes I don't see anything at all. No reflection. Just a dim room and a shadow in the distance. Moving closer. That same night, I heard footsteps. Not from outside. From inside the house. Slow. Bare feet on the wood floor. I tiptoed down the hallway, holding my breath. The sound was coming from the living room. I peeked around the corner, and there I was, standing by the window, my back turned. But I was asleep in bed, wasn't I? I stepped back, heart pounding in my throat. The figure turned slowly. I caught a glimpse of its face, my face, but colder, pale, smiling that unnatural smile. It raised its finger to its lips, like it wanted me to be quiet. Then it vanished. No sound, no footsteps, nothing. I'm losing track of what's real. I can't trust mirrors. I can't trust shadows. I can't even trust myself anymore. Last weekend, I went to stay at my aunt's house, hoping the distance would help. She lives in the countryside, quiet and far from the city. No big mirrors, no glass walls. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could escape. But the second night there, I caught my reflection in the window at sunset. Not doing anything wrong, just standing, watching. And when I walked away, it stayed. For a full 3 seconds before fading. I told my aunt I had to go home, because I know now it's not bound to just mirrors. It's inside me, or maybe I'm inside it. I don't even know which version of me is writing this anymore. Maybe I'm the original, desperately clinging to reality. Or maybe I'm just the echo, the leftover, the one that got out when the real me was left behind in the mirror. Or worse, maybe we switched, and the one behind the glass? He's waiting for me to figure it out, waiting for me to look too long, to think too hard. Because when I do, I feel it, that slow smile pulling at my face, even when I'm terrified, that chill crawling down my spine, even in a warm room. I caught myself laughing alone last night. I don't know why. It just felt right. And when I glanced into the TV screen, I saw him there, behind me, smiling. And this time, he winked first. Something is wrong with time. I don't know how else to explain it. Days blur together now, and I keep waking up in the wrong clothes, in rooms that feel just a little off. My posters aren't where I left them. My books are in different stacks. My toothbrush was red. I know it was red. Now it's green. Little things, unnoticeable to anyone else, but I see them. I remember them. The version of me that used to live here, he's slipping through the cracks, or maybe he's already gone. And something else is taking his place. I haven't told anyone. I tried once, just once. I called Aaron, my best friend since elementary school, and asked him if he remembered my birthday being on June 5th. There was a pause on the line. It's always been June 9th, man, he said casually. June 9th? No. I remember the weather on my 10th birthday. It rained so hard we had to cancel the picnic. I still have the photo, except now, when I checked my phone, the date said the 9th. The picnic photos? Gone. Replaced by images I don't remember taking. Pictures of me smiling into mirrors. I don't even like mirrors. The worst part? I think Aaron knows something. When I saw him at school, He kept staring at me like I was a stranger. His smile was forced, and when I asked him what was wrong, he just said, "You've been different lately. Not yourself." I laughed it off, but my voice didn't sound right. It echoed weird in my own ears, like it came from someone else's throat. I don't feel like myself anymore. Last night, I had another dream. At least I think it was a dream. I was in a long hallway made of mirrors, hundreds of them. Each mirror held a version of me, but none of them moved the same way. One was sobbing. One was laughing hysterically. One stood motionless with eyes as black as coal. And one, the one at the very end, was waving, slowly, beckoning me forward. I couldn't stop walking. When I reached it, I placed my hand against the glass, and it was warm. Then it whispered something. No lips moved, but I heard it clearly, like a voice inside my skull. "You're waking up now. He's going to sleep." I jolted upright in bed, heart racing. My window was open. My closet door was wide, and carved into the wooden floor, with something sharp and messy, were the words, "Not your world anymore." I locked every door in my room, taped over every reflective surface I could find. I even started wearing sunglasses indoors, hoping to block out anything that might show me my own reflection. I don't know if it helps. The feeling's still there, that constant pressure, like I'm being watched from beneath my skin. Like something is stretching inside me, waiting. A few nights ago, my mom asked me if I was okay. She said I'd been sleepwalking again, that I'd stood outside her bedroom door for an hour, just breathing heavily. I told her I didn't remember any of it. She didn't look convinced. "You didn't sound like you," she said. "Your voice was deeper, hollow." I didn't have the heart to tell her the truth. I don't know who I am anymore. Sometimes I catch glimpses of myself in passing reflections, water puddles, car windows, polished doorknobs, and the version I see isn't copying me anymore. It's doing something different, looking the other way, or smiling while I'm frowning, or not moving at all. One time, I leaned over a puddle to tie my shoe, and the reflection blinked, but I didn't. That was when I knew. It's not just a twin. It's becoming me, and I think the transformation is almost complete. I found a journal under my bed a few days ago. The pages were filled with handwriting that looked like mine, but sharper, angrier, and every page repeated the same phrase. He was never real. I wanted to throw it out, burn it, but something stopped me. Some part of me wanted to keep reading, like it already knew what was inside. And on the very last page, scrawled in giant letters, was a message that chilled me to the bone. "This is his dream. You're the reflection." Now I sit here, writing this, hoping that putting it all down will help me hold onto what little sanity I have left. But even as I type, I feel myself slipping. My fingers don't move the way they used to. My thoughts come slower. Sometimes I stare at my hands for too long and forget how they work. And my eyes, they don't always blink together anymore. I tried to test myself. I stood in front of a mirror, just one. I uncovered it briefly, wanting to prove that I was still me. I raised my hand. So did the reflection. I smiled. It smiled. But then it leaned forward, faster than I did. Its eyes met mine and it spoke, soundlessly, lips moving too fast to follow. And then it laughed. My laugh, but louder. It pressed its hand against the glass, and this time, I felt it. Warm, solid, skin. I ran. I slammed the mirror face down on the floor and locked myself in my closet for hours, shaking. But I heard it whispering through the walls, through the cracks, through my own thoughts. "You're tired. Let me take over." And I'm starting to wonder if that's what's happening now. If the original version of me is just a whisper trapped in the glass, and this body, this life, belongs to someone else. Someone who watched me for years. Someone who waited. Someone who smiled after I stopped smiling. And now, every time I sleep, I dream of mirrors again. But I'm not walking through the hallway anymore. I'm trapped inside one of them, banging, screaming, watching him, the new me, walk around freely, smiling my smile, living my life. And I know it's only a matter of time before I'm forgotten completely. before no one remembers I was ever real. Because in this world, in this twisted reflection we call reality, you might think there's a limit to how much the mind can bend before it breaks. I used to think that too. That if you just held on long enough, focused, resisted, stayed strong, you could survive anything. But I've learned the truth. The real horror isn't when your mind breaks. It's when it doesn't, and you realize the world did. I'm not sure how long it's been. I stopped counting days when the clock started changing. Not just the time, the direction. Sometimes I'd glance at the microwave and see the numbers running backward. Other times they'd just freeze altogether, blinking midnight like time itself had hit a wall. Or maybe I did. Things don't make sense anymore. The photos in the house have started shifting. Pictures of me smiling with my family now show someone else. The face looks like mine, sure, but there's something off. The smile is wider, the eyes sharper, like the version of me in those photos knows something I don't. And I swear, it's looking at me when I walk by. Even when I cover the frames, I feel it stare through the cloth. Waiting, watching. The people around me aren't acting right either. My mom calls me by a nickname she's never used before. My dad keeps asking how my job is going. I'm 16, I don't have a job. My little sister won't even come near me anymore. She just stares, wide-eyed, as if I've turned into something unrecognizable. The other day, I overheard her whispering to my mom in the hallway. She said, "That's not him, Mommy. That's the one from the mirror." My mom hushed her quickly, but her silence after said everything. I'm beginning to think this isn't my family anymore. Or maybe they never were. I still dream about the hallway of mirrors, but now I don't walk. I float. I glide between frames like a ghost, and each mirror shows not just a version of me, but a different life. In one, I'm older and rich, with cold eyes and no soul behind them. In another, I'm screaming silently, trapped in a hospital bed, mirrors surrounding me on all sides. One time, I saw a version of myself kneeling in front of a mirror, weeping, holding a shattered piece of glass in one hand and a knife in the other. And every time I pass these reflections, they stop what they're doing and look up all at once. Like they know I'm watching. Like they remember me. I don't know where reality ends anymore. I tried staying awake for 3 days straight. I drank coffee, chewed caffeine pills, pinched myself, anything to keep my eyes open. But on the third night, I blinked, and when I opened my eyes, I was in a room I didn't recognize. It looked like my bedroom, but reversed. The posters were backward. The writing on my desk was mirrored. Even the window looked out onto the opposite street. I stood up slowly, heart racing, and went to the mirror. I shouldn't have. He was there. Of course he was. Dressed like me, breathing like me, but his movements were more fluid, more comfortable, like he belonged there, like I was the intruder. He stepped forward, and this time, there was no glass. Nothing separating us. He spoke. "You're finally here," he said, his voice calm. "Can't even..." I tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. Just reflections stretching into infinity, like I had walked into the mirror world itself. He circled me like a predator, eyes locked to mine. "You fought for so long," he said, almost admiringly. "But you've always known, haven't you?" I shook my head. My throat was dry. I couldn't speak. "You're the reflection," he whispered. "You were born from me." I fell to my knees, the weight of his words crashing into me like a wave. "You were never real," he said gently, crouching beside me. "You were just a placeholder, a vessel, but it's time to come home." Then he reached out and touched my forehead, and suddenly I remembered. All of it. I remembered being behind the glass, watching, waiting, longing. I remembered mimicking every move, every word. I remembered the endless ache of not existing fully. And I remembered the first moment I slipped through, when he let his guard down, when his mind wavered, and I took his place. I was the twin in the mirror, and I'd forgotten. Until now. I woke up on the floor of my real bedroom, sweaty, shaking, sobbing. Except something was off. My face in the mirror looked empty. My eyes dull. My voice, when I spoke, had no weight. Because the original, he's gone. He didn't survive the merge. And I don't know what that makes me. A shadow? An echo? Or just a new kind of real? The mirror no longer frightens me. I stare into it for hours now, not to check if it's copying me, but to remind myself that there's nothing on the other side anymore. He's not coming back. And yet, at night, when the house is silent and the wind is dead, I hear tapping from behind the mirror. Just 3 soft knocks. Tap, tap, tap. And a whisper that sends ice down my spine. You forgot the others. Others? I don't know what it means. But the mirror, it wasn't just one passage, one exit. It's a network, a system, a whole universe of reflections, each one holding something desperate to break free. And I was just the first success. Now I walk among you, smiling, breathing, laughing at the right times, eating lunch with your children, waving at you from across the street. And you'll never know, because I've learned how to be perfect, how to be you, how to be real. But you might feel it one day. A delay in your reflection, a blink that comes too late, a smile that holds too long, a version of yourself that doesn't quite match. That's when they found you. That's when it begins. Because the mirrors are always watching, and they've been waiting their turn. People always say, it's just a reflection. It can't hurt you. They're wrong. What no one tells you is that reflections don't just show you who you are. Sometimes they show you who's waiting to replace you. And once they step out, it's not over. It never ends there. Because once one gets out, others follow. I wish this was still my story, that I was still the boy terrified of his reflection. But I'm not that boy anymore. I'm not even sure if I'm anyone. I don't feel hunger. I don't feel tired. I still laugh, speak, pretend, but it's all hollow now. Like acting out someone else's memories. I live a life I've taken. A life I now wear like skin. But lately, I've felt something I didn't expect. Fear. Not because I'm haunted by what I did. Not because I replaced him. But because I think something bigger is watching me now. Something that even reflections fear. It started with the silence. Not the quiet kind. Dead silence. No birds. No wind. No hum of electricity. Just a vacuum, like the world had stopped moving for a second. It first happened in the middle of the day while I was standing at the kitchen sink, staring into the faucet's curve, watching my face stare back. Then it blinked. Twice. I didn't blink at all. My heart dropped. And for the first time since I took his place, I felt it, that cold, paralyzing dread. Like being watched by something ancient. I backed away, slowly. My reflection smiled, but not in the old smug way. This one was defrayed, twitching at the corners, like it wasn't sure what was on the other side anymore. That night, every mirror in the house turned black. Not cracked, not shattered, just black. Empty. No reflection. No color. No light. Like I was staring into a dark ocean with no bottom. When I reached out to touch one, my fingers went numb. I pulled back fast, and in that pitch void, I saw something move. Not like the twin who came before. Not like me. Different. Tall. Wide. Crawling in slow, unnatural angles. The black glass rippled like liquid as it moved inside. It didn't mimic. It didn't watch. It searched. I covered the mirrors again. I should have destroyed them, but something deep in me, something that used to be human, was terrified of what that might release. These weren't portals anymore. They were holding cells. Barely. And whatever was on the other side wasn't just looking for freedom. It was looking for me. Over the next few days, it started spreading. Reflective surfaces began blacking out. Not just at home, everywhere. My school locker, the display at the mall, even puddles on the street. All dark, all rippling. And in every one of them, a different version of me. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Some looked calm. Some were bleeding. Some screamed silently. And all of them had the same expression. They were trapped. And they were terrified. I finally understood. I wasn't the only one who crossed over. I wasn't the first. I wasn't even the most dangerous. I was just the only one who got out right. The others? They were dragged back. Now I think it's my turn. Last night, the whispering came again.
Not in my head this time.
Out loud. From the hallway mirror I thought I had thrown away weeks ago. It was standing there in the dark, leaned against the wall like it had never left. But I know I destroyed it.
I saw the shards in the garbage bin.
I bled picking up the pieces. But there it was.
Perfect.
Waiting. I stepped toward it without meaning to, like something behind the glass was pulling at me. Not with hands. With memory. With guilt. With recognition. When I looked into it, I didn't see myself. I saw the boy I replaced. The original. He didn't look angry. He looked tired. Exhausted from the weight of being forgotten. And behind him stood the other versions. Some from my dreams. Some I'd never seen. Reflections that had crossed the line and been caught. They stared at me with empty eyes. And one of them stepped forward, his voice cracking like glass. You let it out. Then the mirror rippled, and I fell backward like a blast of pressure had hit me square in the chest. I scrambled to my feet, but the surface had gone black again.
Calm. Still.
Like nothing had happened. But everything had. Because now I know this isn't a story about a twin in the mirror. It's about a gate. And I broke it.
I don't know what I am anymore.
Not fully him. Not fully myself. I exist in between, a reflection that became real, wearing borrowed flesh. But something darker is crossing through now. Something ancient. Older than any version of me. Older than this world. And I think it's already here. I feel it when I walk past strangers and their reflections don't follow. I hear it in the corners of my house, breathing like wind through broken glass. I see it in my dreams, towering, formless, made of shifting shadows and shattered faces. The mirrors no longer matter. Now, I am the mirror, and something is staring through me. I've stopped writing notes to remind myself of who I am. It doesn't matter anymore. I've started writing warnings instead. To whoever sees this, listen carefully. Don't stare too long. Don't trust the reflection that blinks late. Don't follow the figure in the glass. Because if you do, you might never come back. And if you do come back, you won't be you.